Prepper Lessons from Israel. This is Throttle Up Prepper. Prepper Lessons from Israel. This is Throttle Up Prepper. I'm your host, Jeff. If you are a subscriber to the channel, thank you so very much. It means more than you know. And if you're not a subscriber yet, I highly encourage you to not only watch this video, but check out some others. And please consider subscribing today and click the notification icon so you get notified every single time a brand new video comes available, normally on Mondays and Thursdays. And occasionally some random videos slipped in there as well. We also have a website to go with this channel. It's simply throttleupprepper.com. Please stop by and make sure you tell a friend. Today we're going to be looking at certain SHTF scenarios and how to avoid them, because really when it comes right down to most things that we as preppers prepare for, the ultimate preparation, in my opinion, is avoidance. You know, if you can avoid being without power, how do you avoid being without power if there's an EMP? Well, you can prep by having solar panels. You can have a gas generator. You could have other means to do what you need to do in place of, you know, the big conglomerates bringing their electrical supplies to your house. You know, civil unrest. Well, you know, you can listen to the news, you can communicate with people in your group, and you can avoid the areas where there's civil unrest. And the list goes on. Not everything can be avoided. You know, war, for instance, is outside of our control. Economic policies, by and large, are out of our control. But, you know, when it comes to things like terrorism, for instance, can take a number of different forms, different targets and different results. And one of the things I like to do, because I'm a bit of an Israeli file, if that's even a term, I like all things Israel. What can I say? You got to pay attention to a nation as tiny as they are, that's surrounded by as many neighbors who are unfriendly to them, and putting it kindly, as they are, and be up against such amazing odds like the 1973 Yom Kippur War, when they were vastly outgunned, outnumbered, technologied. Again, making up words as we go along here. The 1967 war, the war that was fought the day after they became a nation in 1948. It's ridiculous. So you got to pay attention to Israel. I know West Point does not study the wars of Israel because, as they say, their outcomes are too improbable. But I still say there's lots and lots and lots we can and should learn from them. And this is not an us versus them. It's not an anti-Arab. It's not an anti-Islam. It's not an anti-anything video. It's a pro, keep yourself safe, keep your butt out of the fire video. That's what it is. I'm not ever, ever, ever recommending violence of any kind or anything like that. Again, I'm all for, if you can avoid the problem, avoid it, get out of there. But one of the things that that we learned, that I learned when looking at Israel and how they do things, it comes down to two major things that, insofar as it relates to us as preppers. Obvious, you know, the things about counterterrorism and that Shin Bet and the Mossad and Israel as a government are doing militarily and other ways behind the scenes. You know, we may never know how they do it exactly, unless you were part of the IDF at one point. But some of the things that they do make public that we are aware of is as follows. Number one, as a citizen, as a prepper, whatever your location, whether you're in a rural area and you are out in the country, or you are an urban prepper, the lessons apply. Number one, first and foremost, be alert. What do I mean by be alert? It means, I don't know, be awake and aware of your surroundings. A lot of guys like to talk about it as situational awareness. You want to use that term, go ahead and use that term. It's a good term. I like it too. But I'm kind of a simple guy, so I like to just say it like it is. Just be alert. Pay attention to what's going on. If you're at a cafe or you're in a restaurant, if you're in a movie theater, if you're at a parade, don't just get lost in the moment. Don't just be one of these guys or gals that's doing this the whole time. Your world's not in here. Your world's out there. Save this for when you're at home and you are safe. I spoke with a police officer that did some training for one of my groups I'm part of one time, and he talked about he doesn't go anywhere where he's not employing situational awareness, being alert. He goes into a restaurant, he always asks to be sat towards the back where he's facing the entrance and exits. He knows by paying attention to his surroundings where people are going to be entering, where his emergency exits are, where he can hide, where he can take shelter if he had to defend himself or others. And that's just a good way to be. Think about in Israel. It's a mixed population. It's not just Jews that live in Israel. There are a whole lot of Arabs, peaceful Arabs at that live there and function and own businesses and are part of the government there. So it's not, again, not an us versus them kind of thing. But the reality is that mixed within the population, they come and go, are people that mean to do harm, whether it's suicide bombers, which seems to have kind of fallen a little out of fashion as of late. They seem to be into stabbing attacks, at least the past year it seems. There's all kinds of things that you have to be aware of. And it's not even a profiling thing. Oh, here comes this ethnic group or that ethnic group. I mean, that's ridiculous. You can't live like that. But what you can do is pay attention to things like, wow, it's kind of a warm day, but that dude's wearing a coat. What's up with that? Doesn't mean you go and tackle him and start a problem. He may be one of the, half of a percent of people that can't regulate the body temperature, and he's wearing the coat because he has to. But you watch people that stand out because you don't know what they've got going on. You don't know what's happening. You're sitting at a donut shop like I was the other day. We were the only ones that were sitting outside, but you watch people as they come and go. You watch cars as they drive by, and it's a little hard for me. I don't see very well, but people around me, step up. Someone came up and sat next to me, and I put down a briefcase or a backpack, and then suddenly got up and walked away and left that backpack or that briefcase there. I promise you, I'm not running and asking him questions. I'm getting out of there. Now, maybe nothing will happen. Maybe he just went to go grab some napkins. I'm not talking about being paranoid. I'm just saying, be alert. Notice when something's not right. If you know there's no construction in your town going on or in your neighborhood, and it's the weekend, and therefore you wouldn't expect heavy construction vehicles to be out and about, and suddenly where there's a gathering, a big truck comes around the corner. I don't know, it's probably nothing, but maybe you should be situationally aware enough to look around. If you hear the accelerator being stomped on and that guy starts going nuts and plowing people down, do you know what the quickest way for you to get out of the way is? That's being alert. And the second part of this is it's just being cautious. So being alert, so you're not lost in your own little world. You're aware of what's going on around you, and then being cautious, and that I've kind of already put in there with the being alert. But yeah, being cautious would be the guy sits down leaves his coffee there and leaves his backpack there and walks away. All right, like I said, he's probably going to get a stirrer or some napkins, or maybe the dude decided, you know, he needed something else and went to go grab it real quick. Probably nothing going on there, but being cautious is, hey, you're responsible for your safety and your family's safety. So maybe the cautious thing is you get up and you just walk away. Okay, maybe it's a lovely day and it's beautiful like it is today, and I want to sit out here and enjoy my coffee, but you know what, I want to live too. So maybe out of an abundance of caution, I'll just pick up my stuff and, you know, walk to the car and sit in the car, or maybe start the car and drive on down the road a little and enjoy my coffee somewhere else. I'm sure where you live there isn't just one lovely location to enjoy a cup of coffee or a meal or conversation with friends. So just, you know, it's good enough for the Israelis, it's good enough for us. And actually I'm going to add in a third thing. This is a bonus track, if you will. One of the things when I was kind of reading up on the topic before doing the video that I came across that I actually kind of like, it's a little twisted, but I kind of like it, and I think it works, is they seem to employ a certain amount of morbid humor, if I can put it that way. There was a psychologist that had studied, you know, the general population in Israel and their reaction to terrorism and to different threats that they face every day. And one of the ways that Israelis tend to deal with the constant stress, I can't imagine. I would love to visit Israel one day. Shoot, if it was possible, I probably would love to live there. But on the other hand, wow, talk about a high level of stress. And you got to deal with stress. It'll kill you if you don't. So having a sense of humor about things, that's one way. So that might be a third way. I think the example that was given was, you know, somebody was on the phone, was talking with a friend about meeting at a certain location, and the final comment before they hung up the phone was something to the effect of, all right, I'll see you in 45 minutes if I don't get blown up on the way. Okay, kind of sick, kind of twisted, but, you know, the guy laughed. It was, you know, it's one of those realities that you just got to deal with. And if humor helps, by all means, go with it. So again, I can't stress this enough because I always get comments or always get emails, and people say I'm trying to put one group against another. For those who screen these things, you'll note never did I suggest violence. I'm all about getting away, self-preservation. You're not responsible, unless you're military and unless you're police force, you're not responsible for saving the day and being Rambo and protecting everybody at the cafe. And you certainly don't want to be, in this country, United States, abusing your First Amendment right to free speech and screaming fire every time there's no fire. That's a problem. If you absolutely are convinced 100%, you know, and there's something that you can do and help somebody else, you know, maybe tapping the guy next to you on the shoulder, pointing out what just, you know, happened, and just looking at him, and you get up and leave, then you've brought to his or her attention what needs to be brought to their attention without causing panic, without overhyping a situation, without accusing anybody of anything. Because like I said, dude might just have gone for a napkin. So anyway, that's all I have to say on the topic. I greatly appreciate you stopping by and learning a little with me and thinking a little with me, and hopefully this generates some thoughts in your head. If you've got a comment you want to share, please do so below. I try to interact with everybody I possibly can. Please remember, I am visually impaired, so if by some chance I don't respond to you at all, or I don't respond to you right away, you'll have to forgive me. It's inadvertent, I assure you. And again, you know, we don't know what's coming our way. All we know is we need to be prepared for whatever comes our way. Until next time, God bless.